Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the next chapter, and I've given a title to the book now, How to Meet God While Alive. And it is an actual book now. And this has the 10th chapter in it, and there's only one of them at the moment. And it is just a book, so it has been the latest sign, if you like, that I know of. The latest sign is we tested it, whether it was just a book or whether it was more than a book. It is just a book, so we can print it, publish it, sell it, however we need to distribute it. This particular one is signed, so it has both signatures if you like, but signed. So let's get on with that. So the contents is now obviously complete. So chapter 10, we're going to be doing chapter 10. Not everyone is chosen. So I care about your interests, your concerns, your goals. I get that you like being rewarded. I get that you want to live forever. I get that in all the mess of the world, you should be standing out as special, as you have put effort into doing the best you can. I get that you have been given multiple choices for which you may have selected a religion that represents some of the best values you can think of, that represents you, and therefore God must be representative of all those other values in that religion. It's incorrect, but we'll go with what you've done so far. I get that you are the boss of your life, and whatever you decide is where your life is going to go. I'm going to support you the very best I can by giving you the truth. With that said, the truth may not align with everything you've been told. In this book, I'm happy to share the truth with you if you wish to hear it. If you're not happy with the truth as explained in this book, then there is no problems for you later, and I have shared them with you in this book. At the end of this book, it will still be your choice. Further, if you think what we have said and done has made it so difficult for you to change and does not give you any value that improves your life, then realize this book is for people who wish to be chosen of God, friends with God, a relationship while you are alive with the true Creator, the universe, and everything. Everything I did, I answered for, so shall it be with you. I hope the framing of the difficulty of the situation in that manner, which others have used in the past, helps get across the why of this book. Ask yourself this question. If there was a group of paedophiles, how would they select the next leader? Easy, they would select the best paedophile. I do not blame the people, I blame religious leaders. They selected the best psychopaths to lead each generation. They literally do not care about you as long as you do what they command. If you do not want to do what they command, then they will kick you out, ostracize you, or kill you. Does that sound like the leaders in control understand God? God, GQF, will let you be you. If you wish to live your life without being his friend, he's fine with that. Now, for your religion, does it sound right that their God will come after you and kill you for it, ostracize you for it? Does that sound like the God that created the entire universe, that allowed different life to him to exist? So after he allows every sort of life to exist, he then comes after you. Which of these two options sounds better? A truly benevolent God would allow you to be you, would allow all life forms to be themselves. This is the truth. This is what this book is, the truth. Why should people choose, from your perspective, this version of God? instead of the myriad versions that offer you everything after you die. Theirs cannot be checked. With the real God, you get everything while you're alive. One of the benefits of being chosen for the real God, not religion's imaginary God, is you are healthy while you're alive. Your family is healthy while they're alive. Everything turns out to be benign. You get to meet him while you are alive. You get to meet a real living alien. Completely alien by your standards. So yes, you get to meet an alien. If you ever wanted to meet a really powerful alien, now is your chance. I was also shown 4 other alien races creating wonders of the universe. So you can see them as well if you choose to, and he allows you to. Then, of course, as a chosen, you can then protect others and help others. As a chosen, even people around you are made healthy without you even asking, as it would shame him. If, say, you were living next to an unhealthy person and you said you were the chosen of God, how would it look if right next to you is a very, very sick person and you say you are the chosen of God? I've never asked for it, yet I remain healthy. My family's healthy, my children are healthy. The lady next door, sort of there. The lady next door was told she would never walk again by doctors, and she is healthy walking around. You can decide if people live longer or die instantly. You know if people are going to die. I'm not lying when I say you will have the full power of God behind you. Though you, like me, might wish to temper that. It is a lot of power, if you like. So why choose this? Why trust something you do not know? Why should you be the first to trust what we say is true of those around you? I can only answer, would you like to be healthy while you're alive? Would you like your entire family to be healthy while you're alive? Would you like your neighbours to be able to walk again whilst they are alive? Would you like to help as many people as you can? Would you like to meet him and ask him yourself? Whichever questions you wish to ask. As far as I know, since I've not died yet, when you die, your life comes to an end. While you're alive, you get to be chosen, to be able to change the universe, both, if you like, the creator and the created come together, as if you like the proverbial God, making the universe a better place. You are still wondering what I do. What do I do? You're still wondering what do I do. You know religion is wrong, but still wondering what do I do? What do you do to get there, if you like? You know religion is wrong, but perhaps you do not get it after all this. When you get to be chosen, you'll have little to no ego. So why do you need followers in the sense they worship you? If you cannot tell a normal person needs no worship, then this path is not for you. You will get no praise on this path. Quite frankly, you'll come across the opposite, veiled hostility. We do not require your worship. When you're in this place, you will not require other people's worship. We do not require your love, your admiration, your honours, your money, your prayers, or songs. We absolutely need nothing from you. To be honest, these things you would want to do for us are sort of insulting. We're not after any payment when we do things for you. Some of the things for humanity, if you like, are going to be good. Some of the things are going to be bad. It's just the way it is when you take charge. When you understand why this is, then your cup is close to empty and you will be almost ready to begin. Your cup must be empty to begin. We will fill your cup with eternal knowledge, eternal wisdom, eternal righteousness and benevolence. The choice is, can you be a better person than your parents? Can you stand up and say what they were taught is wrong? If you can find no fault in your parents, then you will never find any fault in yourself. To find fault in yourself is to find the path. When you are chosen, you will write the next book, the next chapter. And only a chosen on the path can write another chapter. And you, at the moment, are not worthy of putting pen to page yet. I include myself in this information as it is important if you wish to be where I am, because I could just talk about him continuously, but really the path has, this book, if you like, is about the path that I took, so it very much includes me. I include myself in this information. It's important if you wish to be where I am. I will spit it out. I'm here for you. What can I do to help you? No name, no honour, no, my time, my entire life. Since what you are trying to achieve after being chosen cannot go without a name, then think of it as you can claim your name when you are chosen. You are most certainly someone now, or you will be someone. Your very name, your very being has meaning. He will know every word you speak, every thought you make. There will be no line where you end and he begins. You can now, when you achieve this, you will then be able to say the words that we are God. Confusing, perhaps, he is still him, and you are still you, but together you are the proverbial God. If I had to, if I had the power to do my will, I would. He helps in that department, but he remains pretty much neutral on most things, such as free will choice. Does it matter in the scheme of things, this or that? Not so much for him, but for me, yes. So essentially, if you like a simplistic interpretation, this becomes as much your universe as his. Was it a risk that I took to see and work out if there was something there? Yes. Since no one had done that before, perhaps no one had been capable of this before. You could say I took the greatest risk anyone had ever taken, ever, to do the impossible. Now it is your turn to decide. Looking back, my start was just a simple sign. I worked out what was essentially when I was 6, and I uttered the words, which I still remember from being 6. What are you? And from that, it all began, if you like, the search all began. I worked out what was required to contact the entity that left it. The sort of there was sort of in space. There was I had a picture of it, of this whole area, but a small section of it just didn't seem right to me. And from that, I considered that the being that did that would have to be literally beyond comprehension. Anyway, I didn't know what the entity was back then, something able to alter, control the fabric of matter, space and time in the universe. All I knew was it was real, and I intended to find it. God did not come to me, force-feed me science to say this way, that way. It was for me to sit down and understand, to understand what would a God really be looking for if it left a small sign. And it was a small sign to me. To spend sometimes hours in a day working it all out. No giant arrow with a sign saying God was here, God was here. Just a small anomaly to start my journey. Along my journey, I made a sign as big and as bright as I possibly could, and the size of a galaxy for you. When I look back at the signs we've done together and left, he already knows that try as I might to help others, it almost never works. What works is that a person must want to know the truth, must find that first anomaly sign, and must also start from an empty cup. The path is open to all if your cup starts empty, and your journey starts here. And there's a gold question mark there as a copy, if you like, of what we put into space, the size of the galaxy. I skip forward too much. Pushing. I see, pressed end page or something. Let me just go to there. And there we go. Okay. Not everyone is capable of deciding the fate of the universe. Not everyone will want to do this. Nothing is held against you if you do not make it or do not want to do it. I see no reason why you cannot be God's friend. And he yours. He is, after all, the one that performs the feats, so gives the final okay to your science, assuming, of course, you have not been led astray by religion. Your journey may be quite long before you understand enough of him to even grant you one sign. I have covered other qualities of who would likely succeed. A doer, not a leech, someone with the determination to do the impossible. Let's say you do not make it or cannot be it. Being a good person, helping others is a noble effort. You may find that when a chosen comes across you, they recognise your efforts and help in a way that saves your life or your family's, as in cured of terminal disease or an assassination attempt fails. Real actions. If you have a poor memory, how could you become a chosen? If you forget a simple thing like a word, how can anyone trust you about anything? I've mentioned the capabilities I believe you require for this. Being chosen is being benevolent, which is above and beyond your understanding of good. It is different. You make the decision of what is right and wrong. You. There is great responsibility. Your word means something. You do not let others down. I run a business. I competed in sport internationally. I solved several of the hardest problems in the world, one being finding and interacting with God, thus proving he is real. I invented what you consider AI, or deep reinforcement learning as used today. I cover that in more scientific papers, which DeepMind UK built, if you like, right back in between 2009 and 2013. Anyway, it's covered in more scientific papers. I gave that insight, that breakthrough, to the world for free. I've given so many things away for free that to give a number, it will be helping everyone everywhere many times over. I remember being giving the conveyor belt for Japanese food while on a train with friends, possibly going to a seven-a-side rugby competition. Though it was a long time ago, and telling them it was $1 million idea if they wanted it. And obviously someone listened in. I repeated it to another friend while I was in a pub later. Maybe a week later or whatever. I do not believe you need to be as accomplished as me to be chosen, but I also believe you cannot be a fool. You must be able to understand your decisions. For me, am going to do is not the same as have done. I place a lot of time in deep thought on action and consequence, and we're not talking so much as children, we're talking as adults. Children will be children. For me, I still have not done enough for you. This planet, this solar system, this galaxy, this universe, I've barely scratched the surface, so there is so much left to do for you. Are you capable of being the person that wants to do the impossible? Things so far out of the ordinary, so far out of your comfort zone, that the entire planet thinks you're crazy, that you wonder if you are. Many times you probably wonder if you are. Are you average or above average? Do you prefer to lead rather than be led? There is nothing wrong with you giving this chance to others while you learn about who and what you are. You may have heard about religion talking about sins. First, their entire books are nothing to do with us and are completely wrong. There is no point dying for others' sins. Even the word sins is pointless, a useless, destructive word of no meaning to me. You are everything you do and achieve. This concept of forgiveness for your sins is all made up nonsense. Instead, everyone is responsible for their actions. You have to take ownership of your actions and understand the repercussions. It might be easier to say it like this. There are no incorrect actions, just incorrect thinking. Anyone saying they would die for your sins does not understand free will or choice. Instead, we change the trajectory of humanity in the universe. So you can have freedom and choice within it without you thinking we want you to kill others in our name. When a shark in the sea kills a human for food, is the action wrong or the thinking? Since you are not acting without thinking, perhaps a longer thought process would give you a better outcome. The outcome of the shark being hunted down for killing a human is probably not the final outcome they were after. Free will choice means I do not want to interfere. I do not want to do many things, but sometimes you have to. There is no contradiction when you look at it from our side. Everyone today has false religious books that say go and kill each other, go do this or that in our names. You're effectively stuck in a loop made by egotistical people of historical insignificance who thought they were important. They taught you wrong. So now you end up mocking us, the real deal, abusing our names and doing awful things in our names, just because some wannabe told you to do it and thought they were important. The problem false people face is truth. They fail under it. I will die after striving for as long as I can for something greater for you, so that you can meet him while you are alive. I give you. That's why I'm putting this path together. But I'll still die, and hopefully you will find your own path. If I understand things correctly, this universe has me as its focal point at this time. The next may be you or another species somewhere out there. At a minimum, you get the choice to be chosen, the choice to meet him, far more than what you had before. I want you to think and say this as many times as it takes to sink in. You have a choice to know the truth. I bring the hope of the universe. Every living thing should know that no matter their belief, that the truth is more important. I will not be shamed this day. Ask me again tomorrow. I have hands. Every life form before me, evolution has stood up, looked at what they have and said metaphorically, I will not do nothing today. I will do more than nothing today for the future, for my children, for you, for me. So today, for me, with hands, I look at them and say, I will not be shamed this day. I will not do nothing this day. You can ask me again tomorrow. It really is that you want to help, not that you want to do it to look good or to look as if you're doing something. Volunteering is not what this is about. Working is not what this is about. It is about what you do in your own time for others. You don't even need to know their real name. They do not need to know yours, and you want to do this. You want to help people as much as you can for as long as you can. There's no reward for what you're doing, no praise, no love. You do it because you want to find out if there is something that is really greater than you while you are alive. To help you escape the limits of your mind, do you understand what the concept of nanobots is? Well, we, as in the human race, think of us as the nanobots. We like itty bitty machines, and there are greater life forms out there, but we could be more. Sign 12. God, GQF, does not like answering yes or no to questions, or answering questions in that manner. A more open response is preferred, where his interpretation of the response is allowed, which is one reason I add at the end of the sign requests for him to fill in the minutiae. A small set of signs, 3 to 6, I think 4, was my headphone audio wire moving, tapping on the floor as a response to the questions I asked, like 1 for yes, 2 for no. While the cable was laying on the ground near my computer, I was near the bike. I have a bike inside on, jacked up, if you like, so I can just ride it for exercise, if you like, do a little bit of exercise. So I was near there, but let's just probably even say this. I think as my headphone was tapping on the floor as a response to the questions. Well, yes, do you know? While the cable was laying on the ground near my computer, I was next to the fitness bikes, so as to be away from my computer. It's just a normal bike. We just put it on, lifted it up on the stilts, you see, and it gets resistance on the back end thing, and you but you're still a normal bike. Tires not as pumped up as they used to be. I was next to the fitness bike, so as to be away from my computer. If people were watching, listening in, I asked, and that's covered because I think the intelligence services are listening in. pretty damn sure. Let's put it that way. I asked multiple questions, ending in a reasonably definitive outcome for you, starting with, could I at least get a yes, no for once in your lifetime, or at least once in my lifetime? It's October 2025, so that is now 4th of May 2026. It's the smallest things sometimes, definitive questions and definitive answers in a yes-no format. For the last question, I sat down in my chair again and looked at the section of cable next to me, perhaps 30 centimetres or so, and looked at it as I asked my question. Then that section lifted a few centimetres off the ground and dropped, making a tap. Cable to headphones equals, so there could be meanings within meanings, of course. Cable to headphones equals speaking and listening. I also wonder whether it was a deeper meaning upon meaning. I also like questions that have meanings within meanings. So I had we're all meanings within meanings. So I had roughly one glass of wine prior to asking, and that was would the answers also part of that, So I'm wondering if me drinking would affect him responding. He probably does the subtle breathe in, as in you can do better than if you drink less. I also get that he would probably be shamed if I was sick, as has chosen. I tell him we should be helping others instead. There is so much left to do. Yes, it's good from your perspective to understand the yes-no concept. There's so much there that with a yes/no answer you don't get the meanings within meanings within meanings, which you do with sort of evidence straight out. But him obviously explaining this with a yes/no question, that he doesn't like yes/no questions, so is sometimes we like to sort of have a little to and fro, a bit of play, but the time for play, so to speak, is over. Sign 13, March 2026, so last month. I asked if I could use his name, Fraw, pronounce Fraw. When speaking to you in future, I hope I get the spelling right. I have not used it in many years. He also confirmed using GQF is fine to when referencing him. He did this by a couple of taps of something at the end of the room, cables. Little telephone connection, whatever, internet connections over there. A couple of cables to the mobile, to the wireless, the telephone, and one of those. He did this by a couple of taps of something in the room. To each question, I do not recall the exact wording of the request, but it could have been, "Are you happy for me to use blah, blah, blah. GQF, your real name, GQF, and GQF, thus showing he has emotions too." I should also like to say I asked for a short, pronounceable English version. GQF's full name may be a lot longer. So you have to understand there are different species, multidimensional species. They're going to have obviously language, words, grammar, and possibly have a lot more than what we do. But they would have naming schemes for things. Name himself, name part of your being, your body if it's important, like humans do perhaps. But certainly I considered that he would have a name, which is why I asked for that. But I knew conceivably I wouldn't be able to pronounce a name in his language. If it's a multidimensional language, then I don't speak the multi-dimensional language. It's the silent letters might get me. You know what I mean? So I asked for it to be, if you like, shrunk down into a small English name, because this is what English people do this sort of thing. If someone comes to them and said their name is, this enormous name, we sort of grab the smallest bit at the beginning and sort of like, Ted, you know, super. So that's where that came from. So so that's just a small English name that he's happy for us to use. His actual name is probably certainly beyond human pronunciation. Yeah. Yes, as an English person, we like to shrink people's names if they are too long. I would not know the full name of GQF were it longer. That can be for another chosen. Well, maybe at some point we are able to reach this small dimension, these different dimensions, and speak such languages. That's cool. That's be good. One thing I would like to deliberately leave the next chosen is for you to find out if GQF is one being, has a family, friends, species. I think it would be so great for you to answer something so great, to find out a little more about him or them. I sometimes wonder if he has a family, whether they brush each other's proverbial hair before going out, etc., or whether he is the family as in one being, is the entire species, etc. I envy you working that one out. Of course, it is likely there will be lots to still work out. Religion is perhaps still around, unfortunately. Hopefully we've eliminated it. And Earth is currently getting hotter and hotter. But hopefully, we've done our best to correct these issues. If anyone says to you that you must do it this person's way or their way, or that they are the way, they are mistaken and false. They're nothing to do with God. God can only know you from your way on the path. The path takes you to meet God while you're alive. Do not listen to those that have not met God while alive. They are false. Everything they say is false. The path is there. You must travel it. If you try and copy exactly what I've done, then how can he assess you if you are a copy? You may not be able to achieve as much as I have achieved, but remember, I was the first. I was trying everything, OTT, as much as I could. Everything that could be done, I did. I wanted to do, because I wanted the question answered once and for all time, for all humanity, for all species everywhere. I could stand at the end of my life and say truthfully, I had tried everything I could as benevolent, righteous and just, and found that there was no other great beings out there. So that was the idea. I try everything, and then, if you like, proving the negative, if you like, science. Yes, you can be a great being. Forget your mortality. That just makes everything you do the more impossible, which is exactly where you need to be to do this. I can show you, or at least I'm in that position, mortal. I can show you the path I took and the reasons for it. The path is there, but it must be your own. But it must be your path now. Embrace it. Follow the path in your way. Are you a selfless, benevolent being? Are you willing to put the universe first, change it, make it yours? Would you like a friend along for that journey? I'm sure there are multiple ways to follow the path. I'm just the first to find it and to explain it. The impossible is possible with trust. God, GQF, does not tell you to do anything in his name. I'm just explaining as best as I can what I have done and who I am. But I do not say you must do this in my name or his name. You can do anything you want. I'm just giving you the truth, and you can choose. But if you persist in saying we told you to do something and we did not, then as you have seen with this, we can stand up for ourselves. If you persist to the point of asking, for example, live on TV for all to see, to kill other people as your religion demands this, we will kill you right after your speech, just to show that there is a lesson to all future people who would use our names in some religion and say you must go and kill others, kill everyone. Choosing to falsely speak our name and asking to kill others now carries the most terminal of consequences for you. You die. There will be no excuses. I will not have to fill in any paperwork. No one will be able to stop us. This is our universe, and I will sleep just fine when you're gone. I can ask you, nay, recommend a better way of living. Call them commandments if you like, but do not consider this the same as ordering you to do something. Suggestions on how to live a better lives are not the same as orders. Suggestions on how to meet GQF are not the same as orders. I think it is easier if I just said, as a chosen, you make justify the rules. Hopefully that solves that dilemma. As a chosen, you can choose. Now I assume you being chosen is going to be the same as me being the real Messiah. When you reach this point, there may well be differences, and I see no reason why you cannot add to this book with your own book on top once you have met God, GQF. We are God, for all. And I can be colloquially called this, one being, when we perform acts together. God, as people understand it, I have designed things and he has made them real, so the same will likely happen for you. This whole book has been a unified effort, he and I coming together to help you with as much information as you need to separate fact from fiction and get started on your journey, if you choose to. There is good reason for us to refer to ourselves as God in the singular, as in together united, since you cannot tell the difference between fake people in religion and a real God. Therefore, we have to approach your education and knowledge with a little flexibility and just present the information as one singular source, so to speak. There has never been anyone I've loved to a greater depth romantically than my wife Maddie, but I knew I had to give it all up for this. You may ask if giving up everything you love so dearly is easy to give up. No. But against what I must do, it's paled in comparison. Trying to save a planet, a galaxy, a universe, I hope you are capable of such great loss for a chance to save everyone everywhere. GQF will be a part of you, as in you are not entirely human anymore. Consider it. Two beings now occupying the same space-time. He literally knows everything you see, think and do at all times. So yes, part of you will be God. There really is no simple way that I know of explaining it any other manner a human could understand. You will just know things or make them happen with just thoughts. Also, I don't like the ringing of bells or any noise that is used to summon people to worship or gather for prayer for us. This is just annoying. The whole religion is annoying. I asked GQF to tell me any relevant information, future information, which he does, which is why I knew about the assassinations, plural. But mostly it's all one way. He knows everything about you. You know nothing about him, except what he wishes to convey through physical evidence instead of talking. Talking does not guarantee understanding, so I assume he uses evidence instead of talking as you impart more information, and more information leads to greater understanding. You can also re-reference this evidence at later points, because you have a good memory, and re-evaluate again and again, perhaps gaining new insights, something you would not get with words, with just words perhaps. If I were to compact the evidence of what God has shown into words, I might put them down as this for you. God, GQF, point of view of God speaking, but my words and interpretation. I do not want you to show me what some religion has told you to do. I will be your friend if you're worthy of being my friend. Your actions, not your acting, will decide that for me. So that's my interpretation of what is happening, or what will happen for you. From my perspective, I want you to expand your understanding of everything: the world, the universe, life, what life elsewhere might think looking at you, what insects might think of you. Expand your understanding. Then, with all this knowledge and understanding, show me how you see the path. The path leads to friendship, and what makes you think you can be my friend, let alone God's friend. I would hope my friends would try to help others by solving the problem. Why is this happening? What can I do to change the situation? Confirming a previous point, okay, and to make this very, very clear to you, GQF God will never speak using words to you unless you are chosen. And then only a few words. It is easy to see the made-up nonsense when you read a sentence or a paragraph of words from religious texts. Yes, this reels off a whole paragraph for you. If you cannot understand evidence, as in the saying, a picture paints 1,000 words, then you will never understand why words are misinterpretable. So how can you help others in your way? If you're helping others because you're asked, or there was an opening, or it is your duty, or because this is what your group does, then you're not on the path. The path is yours now, yours alone. You must show who you are, not what some group represents. But I know people like groups. It's an interesting catch-22. We'll see if he allows it, if you wish to use that as your path, and certainly it'll be interesting. But it will be you, not the group. If all you wish to do is skim or skip this book because you think you know everything, then know he is quite able to skim or skip you. As chosen, we do the impossible, we step up. Just to recap reality for you, GQF can present himself as a gaseous being, as a vision to you in your mind while awake, when asked, perhaps also when the moment is right. He is capable of controlling, changing anything, anywhere, but lets things play out, usually without interference. He can control the wind, the water, but chooses not to day to day, unless the chosen desires it and he approves of the change, usage. Sign 14. I tried to get in contact with Jordan Peterson and kept getting silence, so I thought, well, perhaps they do not believe what I say, mocking who and what we are. I made sure this sign could only happen if GQF admitted creating the universe, since how could you mock GQF if he did not in fact do this and was the proverbial God? But in that, I would know when Michaela Peterson, came on YouTube after 6 months and announced he had been sick. So yes, I let him stew for 6 months. I formulated the sign saying that if Jordan was mocking us, specifically Jordan, but family if necessary, then Jordan would suffer a mild pain such that he could not work anymore. He would be able to accomplish simple household duties, but nothing work-related, and I wanted to be able to meet him in person, and so asked that the effects could only be lifted in person, or if necessary from afar. The pain would get intensely worse if he tried to work. He was working on his Christian religious store, so I get to show what is wrong another way as well with this sign. Yes, GQF created the universe, and that was confirmed in this sign on October 2025, or around then. After I tried to contact Jordan Peterson, 6 months earlier, I stipulated, so it was confirmed. Stipulated, though, if he did not believe we are who we say we are, as in GQF created the universe, is the proverbial God, and I'm the Messiah, the chosen of God, then he has to be racked by pain if he tries to work, so he could not work ever again. Not enough to stop him living and perform day-to-day limited household duties, but enough to make everyday working intolerable if he tried, until I saw him face to face and removed the pain. I selected that I would know by Michaela Peterson after 6 months and would come on YouTube crying about her dad and his continual illness, so I wouldn't know then. The sign had been granted. The problem now is getting to him when he does not believe me. Religion is so insidious and evil that it takes over your normal thinking functions. Now, one of the parts with the Jordan Peterson illness, I wanted to make it unusual. So there would be 3 he'd have three illnesses that are completely different, do not usually work together, not seen together. So at any one time, these three illnesses just, it's impossible, if you like, that you'd have all three illnesses at the same time. They never will go together. And obviously, it's a tough decision. I consider that if he, and specifically he, but it could be the entire family, any of them were mocking who I was, and did not consider that GQF and I are exactly who we say we are. Therefore, him to remain ill until I meet him, or we meet him. He would be able to do household duties, take care of himself at a minimum, but nothing else, no work of any kind, or the illness would return to him. He would have multiple unconnected diseases, which would make it appear not normal in any sense of the word. There are many things I achieved with this, since I knew when asking that I would get an answer to whether GQF is actually the creator of the universe, God, that we understand that to me. Since you cannot be mocked and insulted if you are not who you say you are, you could say it was a brilliant way to find out with evidence. Yes, Jordan would suffer some serious discomfort, but he would not be allowed to die. And he gets an answer, though he refuses the implication. No, we are in control, and would much rather believe in. He would much rather believe in, and would much rather believe in something he has a better. So he suffers from the gamma fallacy, the lost revenue. Is it lost revenue fallacy? Where you put good money after bad, something like this. The gamblers do. Yes. When you invest, it's hard to get out and see where you're wrong. Let's say he has a very big ego, no foundation in truth. So to him, it is one truth versus another. Only his truth is false. So the you fallacy lost. Anyway, sunken cost fallacy. Sunken cost. The second being, does the chosen of God have any meaning? I mean, if it means nothing, then mocking nothing means nothing. So being a chosen of God actually has meaning, something important. Because if you allow a chosen of God to be mocked, ignored, killed, even then, there is no meaning to it, so no point having them. Which means there is no point being or having a God. But it must be in some symbiotic relationship. This is meaningful, which means yes. That the point must be made at least once, yes. Otherwise the position is meaningless. So by putting both these things together, God had to answer an impossible question, or give an impossibly difficult to get answer. I have to admit this is a brilliant sign. Genius, actually, so simple. So subtle and yet so much information in return. Jordan does not know that his ego pride led to his suffering for it, but provided the most important confirmation mankind has ever known. He took one for the team, let's say. Jordan punishes himself when he can simply meet me and know the truth. This also tells me the depth of the resistance to the truth in religions. You must understand the resistance means their life. That is how far along the indoctrination goes. Literally willing to die for something they believe in. The big difference being we would never ask anyone to die for anything they believe in. We are quite capable of defending ourselves and show you the truth. I tried to fix Jordan from afar, but was not successful, so it would seem GQF will only allow an in-person fix, if at all. I spoke outside to GQF about how this would have to be done at least once, otherwise no one would ever consider him or me real and never take us seriously ever. People dying for their false beliefs are a bit stupid, but it has happened throughout history. People preferring fiction instead of fact. If you wish to die for something, at least have the nerve to step up and know it if it is real and not from, at least know if it is real and not from the horse's mouth. Maybe it is from the horse's mouth. So if you wish to die for something, at least have nerve to step up and know if it is real or not. I think so. Know if it's real or not from the horse's mouth. Yes, English. the most important knowledge, perhaps, from this is that GQF guarantees he is the God admitting to creating the universe. Now comes the difficult part. You actually understanding what I just said. It means we could be in a terrarium, watched bugs that are fed, watered, when required. Otherwise, the system carries on as is. From what I've gathered with the evidence from GQF, who speaks in evidence, remember, I make the assessment that he is in the terrarium with us, which is a very strange circumstance and thus negates our concept of a terrarium. You get to a conclusion that is both. You get to the conclusion that he is both inside and outside the universe at the same time, or can move between the two, if such a separation is even a thing, which is a strange dimension. Yes, we made Jordan Peterson ill, so he cannot work and only minimal needs. Short interviews are allowable, but if he works, then the diseases would come back in a storm of activity. Also, for the sign, I explicitly said he could not die from it, nor could his immediate family die during it, which protects them from normal illness. I cannot say more as events are still unfolding. The motto of that story is he was man enough to mock us. We shall see if he's a man enough to listen. So yes, his family gets protected from death, essentially, while he suffers. So good and bad, if you like. With that one, it was sometimes difficult signs are necessary, and this is certainly it was necessary, and there's some good from it. A lot of good from it. In fact, his family not dying, but he is suffering for his pride, essentially, his pride and his ego. This is what I've tried to contact him and no response. They still, if you like, whilst further mocking me or us, which was expected. But eventually he will die, and the protection there of his family will end, and they will then carry on as normal. But we will see. I will now and again come back to him and make considerations, but at the moment it is as it stands. So it's been almost like a year for him. We'll see how he does. Sign 15. This book highlights the path I took, but it also is also more than that. In that I asked recently, June 2025, for a sign to show if this book was enough for you, anyone, anywhere, to be chosen. The sign was granted. This book is endorsed by God. That shows you a true path to Him while you are alive. The surprised look on the sun, 4th of June 2025, I was in bed contemplating the usefulness of writing everything down, when the thought occurred that maybe I could train another chosen, that the words in this book were useful, that what I was doing was useful. Did it have any use? So I sent an email to my daughter, 1st of June 2025, with a monkey with a surprised look, asking her if Max had changed at all, wondering if I could teach someone, or were humans still all just apes? Then when thinking further in bed the next night, I considered that I knew my family the best, and so if I could put my trust in anyone, it would be Max, as I knew him very well. This was more than idle self-gratification, in that if I could at least show someone I knew, trusted, a way that they would be chosen through this book with questions he could ask. If I miss something, then anyone could be chosen, giving meaning to the words, the book, the endorsement is not, it shows that that it's true. The path is waiting for others. while I could consider myself, unique, I'm much happier knowing that others can reach the same position. Much happier from my perspective that there is a path. So yes, this book becomes no mere book. It becomes a quantifiable, God signed off fact that I am showing others the true path. As I considered this in my bed, I would be about as it would be about as benevolent as it gets. It's not me then that is important, though I have importance. It's a path that is important, which this book shows my travels down the path. The book can be considered an artifact left by great beings for future generations to uncover its secrets. Others can be chosen. Don't you see how incredible this is? This should blow your mind that you can be chosen to. That the path written down in this book is real, that anyone can pick up this book and know of my path. This is simply one of the most benevolent actions I can think of. Yeah, so you have to quickly look at it. I can't. What was this, page 155? So I'll just quickly look at page 155 and show you. Screen res is not that great, but what did I put in the email? Ah, yes, Amelia. Found a photo of Max when he was young. Has he changed much? Have you started working on your CV, Dad? Yeah, so... And so the surprised look of the monkey. I tried to put that on the sun. So that's what I came up with. The eyes are the same as the previous one. It was like, I decided, let's have a different nose, different type of nose, a better nose maybe, or just a different type of nose, really. Change things up a bit. That's his tongue. That's tongues to go. But I think it was supposed to be teeth. But I can't remember his tongue. It's very funny. This is one giant tongue, one giant tooth. You can either work out the path yourself from square one, or you use the knowledge I gained from walking the path already. So, with this book, I will help you. We will do this together. I do not care how dead I am. I have instructions with you that everyone honestly wishing to follow the path to meet him, as in you are following no religion, will be helped. This is benevolence. This is even in death I choose to help you. So, this book, these words. You're going to be confronted by many people who say, where does your morality come from? What do you believe in? How should you orientate your life? Think of life as a blank slate. You have the option to do anything your society permits without bringing us into it. Kill or be killed, good or bad, die young or die old, academia or working for a living. All age-old questions against which you must find your answer. How have your parents brought you up? But most importantly, you get to ask one question of yourself: do you intend to be better than your parents? Yes. For saving President Trump, I think as in the previous chapter, for saving President Trump from the assassin, I changed the mind of the assassin to use a red dot sight instead of the usual sniper scope. It was a way of helping people come to terms with the possibility. It was just about, I don't know if I put that back, I should have really checked. And it just came to me obviously in the thought and just put it down. You didn't need to know what he practiced. You didn't need to know he practiced, and most people could hit you with iron sights at that range. You just needed an excuse to grasp at straws and justify a wannabe sniper, which is as I wanted. I do not want to change the minds of people. I will, when necessary, if there is a good enough reason for it. That was always a difficult one. Now, if you wish to, you can become my apprentice. Meet God. It's like the Wizard's Apprentice or something. Meet God. Get some brooms or something, and they'll, wax on, wax off, that sort of thing. Apprentice is a student. Now, if you wish, you can become my apprentice. Meet God, GQF. You don't have to be, as you can find a path yourself, or using this book. It should be easy to find a path. I'll show you where his name is written in his own hand, so you can read it yourself in the real world while you're alive. You can do that now. Now that you know it's real, And he measures your invitation by how much you wish to help everything in the universe, his creation. I used to understand now. Helping others is but a small part of you, a limited part. When you get accepted as a friend, you will be able to help the rest of the universe, everything, everyone, every species, every rock. If you take on a task for the benevolence, for the benefit of all, you, your family, everyone will require around you, including support. Their families are likely to fall under his protection until you have completed it. Do not speak of how. Yes, this is important as well. Everything's important. Do not speak of how honoured it will be to know God, GQF, me, if you like, as well. Firsthand. This is where you're failing. The honour is his and mine. Finally, another life form has come so far, done so much. When you reach the level of friend, it is truly us who are honoured. You have no idea how honoured we feel for one who has come so far. I, who has travelled that path, am truly grateful of your pursuit for truth, that another has succeeded. And these people in religions, they're so far away. It's ridiculous. And they're willing to die for this sunken cost fallacy. Instead of, going back and trying to build some reasonably sensible, from my perspective, if religion, God, if you like, would be the most evil being in existence if it was anything to do with religion. It the most effed up being ever to exist. He wants you to pay. He wants you to kill. It's like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't need you to pray, and George doesn't need you to kill. It's like if he wanted you dead, you'd be dead. And we show that. I'll talk about it a bit later. Some things I do in real life. I play chess online. Win or lose, I say thank you. It's really peed me off, all the engines, so I started off just leaving games, but realised I was better than that and should set a good example. So I play every game to resigning or winning, and then saying, so winning or losing, I resign. I don't just end the game and just walk away or turn it off if you like or whatever. So so if the person, even if the person leaves, I'll still say thank you. And whether they're there or not. I put my real name against most comments in YouTube and other places. Since I'm protected as chosen, you would be too. People could fire guns right at me, and they would miss. They would not, but they would not get that close, if you know what I mean. They would essentially lose their memory, forget everything, and that's how we've got around that one. There have been many nights where my thoughts are, what more can I do for you, as in other people, other species, the universe. I find it interesting. There's some convergence with the movie Starship Troopers and the reference about being a citizen, that they make the survival of the human race their personal responsibility. I would be considered the first citizen in that regard, but it is more than that. I would like all species to have the chance of a chosen without religion holding them back. The universe becomes our personal responsibility, so we are more of a but personal responsibility. Sign 16. The Sun every Easter will show a little Halloween festivity for everyone from now on. I asked for this more than a year ago now, so earlier than 2024. And only if he wished to do it. It seems he is getting into it a little. I see an eye with, so he did, I think on the next page we've got some pictures. I did an eye with some eyelashes. The 2014 one, I recall, was me wondering if it was time to resume testing, if I was chosen or not, and if he was real or not. whether it's to come out of my anonymous phase. I asked GQF to put a scary face on the sun each Halloween, 2023, 2024, around then. Might have been. So I've asked so many things, so many times, so many years, if you like. Not so many times, so many years. Different things. A few things I've asked multiple times, of course, but for the moment, maybe one or two. Maybe a few. Not many compared to how many have been granted. I do not remember the exact words, and this was certainly a year or more ago. Of course, you don't know when this was made, but written down. Probably took me a year to do this. It was probably 2025 when it was written down. So the first time was 2014, as I recall, and that was just to see if I was to come out of my self-imposed anonymous phase over a decade. I believe it was trying to help as many people as I could. I believe I made the Halloween more of a yearly reminder of me in future. I wanted this to happen every year, long after I'm dead, to join in a bit of fun for children and people. It looks like he started in 2025. So that's so at the top that's the 2014 one. So that one basically took me out of my an anonymous phase. The one below is here we go. So it seems he's participating. Now, if you actually go and look at that picture in that form, so I do actually explain here. So 2025 Halloween Sun. I ask that you get a surprise every year. I find it difficult to believe that we are so scary to you that none wish to know us. So we're doing a little scary, little kitties. I like the little skull. There's a little skull in the picture. There's a little skull in the picture. Floating top left quadrant. Not sure if that was added. It was probably added by someone. If not, I hope you get one each year, but it's quite funny. And he's like, spot the skull. My real hope is that you understand we are down to earth, normal life forms, highly intelligent, super smart, real and approachable. Do not worship us, please. We are you, essentially. The better part of you, perhaps, but still mainly you. So only fools worship themselves. Are we here to protect the planet? The planet will exist for as long as it does, even with the life forms on it. So are we here protecting the life forms? I'm here to, at least to me, I'm here to fix a mistake. It does not matter whose mistake it was, where it started. I accept full responsibility for it and its correction. Why? Because I can. Slide 17. I knew Charlie Kirk would be assassinated weeks beforehand. I allowed it to happen as I did not stop it. It was a tough call. I knew all the Christians would come out of the woodwork for his death. However, since his entire religion is false, if I saved him, I could not be associated with such a situation. So I stood up and said out aloud something like, for everyone listening in, Charlie Kirk is going to be assassinated. Sorry, Charlie. Then I sat down. I'm happy to help people, but people have to let go of religion. He's said some useful stuff, but most of it, some useful stuff and some not useful stuff, some true, some false. But the straw, if you like, that broke the camel's back was his religion. That is why I did not save him. Could not be associated with him, even though. He did say some good things, some good things and some not so good things, but an average person, if you like, at least trying to help. But the problem is if your foundation is built on a lie, we cannot, in good conscience, allow that, from my perspective, to say someone who's, built on a lie, because lies will come out from them, you see. Depends when they speak. So if you help, so it should be quite easy for you to see why we did not help him, even though I knew people are not children of God. This is religion speaking. People have a choice. If you choose the path in this book, you can call yourself whatever you like, a person of God. Perhaps that way you can form a group if you like. I know people like groups for discussions, but the path is yours alone for your entire life. I never called myself anything. I was chosen first, then worked out the path, knowing it was likely something I had done already. And time was changed, brought back. Either that, it was just absolutely remarkable that 6 years old he thought I was going to be someone. That would be pretty deterministic universe. So I think most likely he had a little peak, so to speak. But you can see that to him, the past, present, future is all just the same. So he instantly knew, if you like. There's no difference. But the path for you is going to be alone. I've no memories of a previous state, but just a logical thought about it. I've not asked how I was chosen. When I think about it, I don't know. If people ask why are you my friend, it just sort of clicks between people, and they know, but do not need to say what friendship is. Where it started, perhaps it just grows. I suppose you could have a very strange debate when you consider I am the first human to be friends with an alien with a lot of probing. Yes, I would certainly sit back with a wry smile, smirk. In fact, I don't know how that conversation would progress, but I'm sure I would be laughing a lot. Yes, too much. This is just a different type of probing. Funny. I just worked out that if something was there, it could come across me eventually, and realised I was just trying to contact it, and I just needed to say the right hello, and technology was not the answer for a reply for you. I do not know. It is your path. I had said that any religion can tear down any mosque, burn any Quran or any other religious books or buildings. When Islam is destroyed, you have to tear down your own religion. Copies of any religious books can only be stored in libraries under the history section. This is a pragmatic approach for people that believe is something false. They can fight each other for eternity, but they will never know God. While they fight each other, while they fight each other in choice, they do allow others to become chosen. While their voices get weaker, the voice of the chosen gets stronger. We're trying to fix a mistake. There's a tough call which species gets to live, which dies out, but you will give meaning to this universe, otherwise it's just a plain, ordinary, run-of-the-mill universe. Yeah, we can center the universe, and we do. At the end, when there is no more to achieve, there is no place for evil, as that only leaves self-serving. Since there is no more, self-serving is irrelevant, so the true reason for being is benevolence to help others achieve meaning, the end. There is no difference between life and non-life, since non-life removes all suffering, so non-life, no life must be better. Until you look at the stone and just see a stone, then you say, can I be better than that stone? If I start at nothing, can I be better than that stone? So no matter the suffering. Can I have children that will eventually be better than that stone? With the suffering of every life form for all eternity, can we be better than that stone? Can we hold on to a future where we place that stone in the palm of our hand and say, we will take care of you now? So to take care of the stone, to take care of reality, there must be life. It is the job of those that come before, that reach the end, to take care of the stone. To help others reach the end, the meaning. There is no place for evil at the end. Therefore, there is no place for evil anywhere in history for a deity, as they have no time restrictions. It all boils down to benevolence and matter. People can change their lives, direct their lives, do or do not, there is no try. If you are killed by us, it was deliberate, and sometimes unfortunate. If you are stopped by us, it was deliberate. If you are helped by us, it was deliberate. The moment, if you stand up representing a religion and live stream or similar that we, as in God and I, told you, and you wrote down that you must kill and wipe out an entire section of people, then it is likely we will strike you down. We are quite able to kill those we wish to with a thought. We do not need you for that. However, since Islam is insidious and has written down falsely that we said that they should kill or wipe out others that do not follow them, then we are left with few choices. First, we are standing up against this lie and we are actively killing them the moment they wish to continue spreading this falsehood. Secondly, for those that Islam is targeting, which is everyone, we want you to defend yourselves, and because they are actively seeking you out to kill you falsely in our name, we have no choice but to grant our permission for you to be able to do the same to them. You can actively seek them out and wipe them out. Wipe out the entire Islamic religion. Sign 18. This was disallowed. I visited the university around February 2025 and spoke to a professor there out of the blue. His name was Coward. His last name was Coward. I can't remember his first name. And I wanted to see how true that was. I explained in terms a scientist might understand. First, he thought I was doing some blog or post, but I explained I was real. I explained the film where Keanu Reeves comes down as a representative of a superior race, and well, you can view that ending. It was the closest I could get to what a professor might understand. He was part of the space facility in Australia, helping undergrads, etc., with courses to learn about space. Surely he would be interested in the life forms running the joint. So yes, I turned up. As I say, try to do the impossible. He explained I was lucky to meet him at all, as he was moving offices next week. Well, yes, but we met him. I tried to explain in layman's terms who I am without success, though there was a very nice lady who I asked to show me to his office and who joined me in the lift. I was going to take the stairs, as it is always a long journey to reach for the stars, let's say. However, with her heels and the heat, I would never ask her to join me walking up the stairs, so joined her in the lift. I told him to ask for something. I could put on Mars to show I was real. What I spoke about was real. After 2 weeks and an email response came back, he said he could not help. I responded I would ask for 3. Mr. Potato Heads on Mars, wish the marshal would go past some notice. I printed out a copy for my wife and my daughter, signed, dated, and gave it to them on a visit. Sorry to say, the sign was not allowed. I do not recall any of the blogs media covering Mr. Potato Heads on Mars. It is a shame we were not allowed some Mr. Potato Heads on Mars. Perhaps it is too much. Most likely, I think the reason is the professor could not make the jump from his understanding to my understanding. Very, very difficult for people to grasp, you see. His fault is he will languish in stupidity forever, cast with the name he was given. You may ask, did I want him to fail? Really? You ask this after I printed out a copy and gave it to my separated wife and daughter. You think I wanted the sign to fail? By all that I am, I wanted my daughter to at least know I've been telling the truth all along. Am I ashamed of GQS that he did not give this sign? No, I am the one that is humbled to know I am in the wrong. I do not understand and must redouble my efforts to understand. I know I need to be left alone to finish the book without interference so I can think clearly, but it would be nice for them to know I am who I say I am, one day soon hopefully. But their support is probably a bad idea, as it might send the message I was influenced and by how much. This book has no other human influence, only GQF and I. This book is the proverbial God's word, which is our evidence to you. So yeah, that was one of the reasons I had to leave my wife. Had to, yes. So this could be done. This book could be written without influence, and I had to. Yeah, the journey was mine. All religions are false. Islam is false. All of it. Christianity is false. All of it. Judaism. All of it. Insert your religion here. It is false. All of it. Yes. We have tried to help by putting a couple of things in their books to try and do course corrections. You probably want to know, well, why we didn't just erase the people so the religion was never created. And the issue is there will always be more religions, always people trying to create more falsehoods, and all you'd be doing is just, the nail that sticks out the longest gets hit the hardest by the hammer, but that doesn't end, free will and choice. Choice, you see, you, the answer, while maintaining choice, is that within all these religions, the truth is there somewhere, or you put the truth out there to invalidate all the religions and all the ones that will be created. The question is when you do that. Anyway, doing the impossible and failing so many times. Why do I care? I care to know a friend. I would like to know how they tick. I would like to know how I can help them. Forget the universe. I mean, if both life forms sat down at a table, a couple of beers with no powers, how could I help? What could I do? Pithy to you perhaps, but it is hard to explain. You may think I'm faking it. Really? You think being in my position of faking is the real answer? The journey you embark on as a chosen is not easy. You may have preconceived ideas. I was lucky that my intellect and smarts protected me from suggestion by religions, so I could investigate how damaging they were. You may not be so lucky. Well, we know the majority of people are not so lucky. This is to say, every religion is constantly bombarding you with the message they are the only way. Pay them, and you're saved. Your mind, your body, your spirituality, anything they can sell to you to keep them alive is what they will do. The church even subcontracts some, if not all, of its priests, so they can walk away from any wrongdoing. You are being manipulated at every turn. Religion is manipulating you, getting you to do things. Now, you may say this is not possible, but religion is 30 to 80% of the population of the world. So they maintain they must be right. And if suggestion worked on these people, that gives them permission enough to try to convince you or eliminate you. You best be well aware suggestion works on you. You will have to raise your defences against it if you are to beat suggestion and use your free will, your choice, to resist religion. I'm no hero, please do not idolise me. Idolise, if you wish, what I wish to achieve. You can achieve. You have choice. If you idolise me, it means you are not capable of doing what I have done, and you are. You are all capable of standing up and being friends with another life form. You are all capable of helping that other's life form. You are all capable of being more than you think you know. Just give yourself the chance to stretch out. Sign 19. 2023, 2024, good people that are suffering from Alzheimer's or similar, that become bedridden, who slowly and eventually lose all their faculties with no chance of waking up, will wake up for 24 hours before they die. Have full capabilities returned, or as much as possible to give them, with plenty of time to say goodbye to loved ones. I have the feeling only a very small number of people would get this. Very few people are good. This sign was retroactive, so it applies throughout history to everyone. Asking me to volunteer is silly. At the front of an attacking army or at the front of a defending army, I would be the first person, simply to make sure there were fewer bullets for the rest. So their chance of survival was greater. I just feel the need to step forward first if I can help. I'm not sure if this is a repeat of if I said that particular sign before earlier in the book, but we can do as Avengers. We can alter the past, future, present. Make things retroactive all time, or for as long as needed. Sign 20, Islamic Dilemma. 2023, 2024. Between these periods, I decided to see if logic would work against Muslims' Islam. So I put in a contradiction into the Quran whereby they would always be wrong, to slow them down. Yes, I changed history, I slowed Islam down, perhaps, but its roots are so infested with indoctrination, suggestion and lies that it is like a cat with the proverbial 9 lives. Islam really works on stupid people, which is why their inbreeding helps further religion. You're possibly wondering who would have the audacity to even ask to change the universe when it was created by a being so far more advanced than a human. Well, it would seem then the signs I have been granted, which have indeed changed the universe, have not made it any worse. And if they have not made it any worse, then they are making it either neutral or better. One of the things I made sure to do was put in that it was there all the time. Yes, but that it was considered in a different way. Thus obfuscating why it was there and not talked about from the beginning, and only talked about since I put it in there. Time bomb, if you like, and this is why 2023 or 2024, people suddenly knew about it. But before then, it was like it didn't exist. Changing history requires me to look at things in all ways and prepare a reasonable context from your perspective for the average person. So yeah, suddenly, like that, it became available because it had always been misinterpreted, if you like. And that's how you, if you like, can affect people's minds, if you like. Yes. So that's sort of, if I have to affect people's minds, the people of religion's mind, the religious people's minds, I will, if necessary. We can do that. So yeah, the actual the dilemma then, if you're probably looking it up. So, false, Islam's false book, the Quran, and also associated books, all false. So you basically put in a false book, a false statement. So it's quite funny. It's brilliant. And the false statement is that obviously, because they are killing, in their book it specifically says, you've got to kill all the Jews, all the Christians, so specifically putting in the book a statement saying Christianity is true and Judaism is true, true. The truth about God is in Christianity, the truth about God is in Judaism, in their book, that is false. You see, so it's a false statement in a false book, can be done. But the people that in the religions believe it's true, which means they have to believe that the points are true, which should slow down the insidious nature of Islam against, and their genocide of Christianity or Jews or anyone that's not a Muslim, the genocide of everyone. Slide 21. UFOs, UAPs over America. Yes. Just quickly, when I was in college, might be after I put it in, I don't know. But in college, yes, during the Cold War, I think it was during the Cold War, I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of tension when I was at college in 1980s. 1980s. Made the Russian silos, nuclear silos, turned them all on, made them all active, and turned off all the American ones. Turned off all the American ones, all the silos, all inactive, and turned on all the Russian ones, but they couldn't launch. Just to show them all that there's better ways than bad decisions. That's why I didn't want World War III, the complete annihilation of the entire planet when I just arrived. So yes, that's not a good thing. So just deactivated all nuclear weapons, if you like, or took over the control of all nuclear weapons, if you like, to show them that control could be taken away at any moment. Anyway, sign 21. UFOs, UAPs over America. I decided to see exactly what America would do if you had an actual alien craft, at least as big as the biggest drones, if not bigger, car-sized, all over the sky for a month in a state. I did not want to make it too alarming, like an invasion, like over every state. Just one state is what I preferred. Just a response scenario. Do you know what I found? I found America did something smart. Strategic patience. Because deep down they actually could do nothing. I bet it was hard for them to admit they had nothing to counter it, no way to respond except in a peaceful manner. It was good to see peaceful heads prevail. I've asked that the planet be protected from aggressive aliens. Well, actually, I think I was asked to get rid of them or move us away. Some point. there will be contact, but not today. I'm giving you as much truth as you can handle, then you can decide. The only limit is you, as a chosen, a list of some of the signs to date that I've asked and granted signs, so giant smiley face, 2022, giant question mark, 2023, the bust on Mars, 2024, the surprise look on the sun, 2025, 2023 to 2024, a period when people are bedridden with Alzheimer's. Good people will, before they die, get 24 hours to say goodbye, a door opening in the synagogue, a second visit, a Hunger Dogger earthquake explosion, a weather floodlight bill, 2022, body warming twice to 10 seconds, 2025, the audio cables tapping twice, yes or no questions, and a further set of questions to see if I could use GQF's actual name, whether he's happy for me to use his actual name and GQF. Curing John Peterson of depression, which required me to cure his wife's terminal cancer. 2 parts of the triplicate sheets, disappearing. 2024, President Trump saved from 8 sniper bullets, or just the bullets that hit him. The 3 visions while awake. One was replaying a joke. The 3 emails to the religions telling them of future events. The live communications being listened into by the intelligence services and telling them when to do the first strikes for Iran twice. The Turkish MP dying of a heart attack after his speech to kill all Jews. The Palestinian imam dying of a heart attack after his speech to kill all Christians. I have pragmatically given permission for all Judaism and Christianity to remain as long as they fight Islam with weapons, not just words, until Islam is no more. It will be hard for them to let go, but let go they must. They are just given a longer time frame to let go. Yes, essentially we're in a war. And you must be pragmatic. There are many more. I just can't remember them or do not know if they would be granted. Yeah, it's a lot more than that. During this journey, I had to let multiple people die, even though I knew they would die, simply to work out what was going on. The responsibility that will be endowed upon you is not simply you have infinite power. You must try to understand that power, that capability, that responsibility, and if it means waiting, then you must wait years and learn. Do not think of this as just a simple puzzle to solve. There are levels beyond levels in this universe. Being ready and you knowing you are ready is a key part. You must understand your limitations and what you need to do to exceed them. A little look at the future for you. At least 4 civilizations in the universe built or are building, because I wanted to see them when it was happening. So maybe in future, maybe in the past, maybe in the present. But they're building what you would consider wonders of the universe in space, or not on their own planets at least, as I recall barely. I mean, it could be, but I think it's in space. Construction so vast, you gasp at the enormity. You gasp at what they are building, and yet they build. Will humanity ever come across them? I don't know. Will humanity ever join them in building something incredible in space? A wonder of the universe? I don't know. Hopefully. As a chosen, I was allowed to see 4 of them, though not remember too much about them, as it could change the course of our development. Let's just say I thought with the last one, they were building a spherical-sized space station, a massive construction. Obviously, you would consider artificial intelligence within it, but wow. Yes, it brings back memories of Babylon 5 and the Machine Planet, possibly with corridors. I got only a sideways top-down view. I do not remember seeing any of the life forms or robots building it. The large asteroid or moon was hollowed out enough for the construction to have made some progress. Yeah, I think it's more of a massive asteroid, if it was asteroid more, but or a small moon. I think we're looking at I was looking at the very bottom of this build, if you like, and it was perhaps 100 meters down. Size is such a difficult concept. 'Cause, 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 'cause easily, let's say 60 meters. No, let's take it down to 45 meters. So literally just a few levels up, if you like, and that's 45 meters across. And it was getting bigger. It's going to be big. Massive constructions. Hold out enough for construction, like a 10% progress compared to what it potentially could be in size. Using a large asteroid to build in, I thought was a good idea. Considerable protection elements while workers safely construct inside. 45 minutes. Yeah, it's difficult without distance. It's very, very difficult judgment to make. But let's go with that. It's probably going to be. Let's go with that. Anyway, so what would a civilization need with a constructed moon like a Death Star? But no, I only saw the inside being constructed, as I recall. But it was as if you could see what they were building all at once. I'm not sure if there's an accurate account. So the interactions were short, and I mostly went, wow. But realistically, it must have been smaller, as it was built within a planetary body. I'm hesitant to say moon-sized, as that just sounds like Star Wars. But it was big, and they were building it from the lowest level up, which makes no sense when building in space would be easier, you'd think. Well, possibly. The only way I can conceive of would be they hollowed out a large body built inside it, then might jettison the rest when completed. I suppose it could be concealed from everyone as well. Yeah, so you could keep it like it would be considered, if you like, like Babylon 5, like a machine planet, machine moon. Quite interesting. I didn't get a size. I didn't know what big it was. The asteroid or the moon. And obviously more could be made. But I would say it's going to be much smaller than the size of the moon. Like quarter, eighth of the size. So not that big. Anyway, large asteroid maybe. Try to rid yourself of all preconceived ideas. Think of it this way: the people who started the religion thought there was something more, tried to quantize it, identify, speak to it. They failed while making up bizarre incantations and sacrifices. Can you imagine how stupid it is to sacrifice other life forms to see if another life form likes this? Yeah, stupid. You're essentially calling God the most evil being in existence if he likes sacrifices and will do things for sacrifices. It makes no sense when you examine that he started everything, yet you have to sacrifice something for him to do something. What purpose do strange incantations serve? It is all made-up nonsense, as you should see. If God sees all, what are the incantations for exactly? Some sort of made-up weird life forms some people call spirits, etc.? So religion was all based on lies, made up by deranged people that were themselves considered special, as in disabled. Once you see through the derangement and start from scratch using no prior knowledge, work it out from your standpoint, you see a different picture. This is how you should look at it. When a species is ready to touch base with God in the real world for the first time, it'll be from a blank slate. Identify what, if any, features would be required. So while in olden times they thought sacrifices were the thing to do thousands of years ago, you should have a greater mental prowess to understand that is nonsense. To figure out the requirements of an enlightened being, you need the mind of another enlightened being. So someone in the species must have evolved to become enlightened. The problem with religion is it is entrenched with writing and cannot get past this flawed understanding. It cannot see that when the time was right, the person would not need anything from the past and could just use the knowledge of the present. I succeeded, therefore, what I have to say is important to you. Consider there are three parts to the equation: you, what you know, and him. He chooses who he wishes to be friends with. There is a path. Since he is interacting with this world in a benevolent way, it stands to reason for those who wish to meet him, you can. And the only thing stopping you is you and what you know. So put down preconceived notions, put down all of religion and let's start this journey from the beginning again. If all you want to do for others, if all you want is for others to do everything for you, you will not find him. He is not a panacea of cures. If he did anything for you, you would end up doing nothing yourself and learn nothing. So yeah, he's not going to do everything for you. Freedom, free will, and choice are important. Death is important. Life is important. How you struggle and interact with it is important. How can you appreciate anything if it is a free ride? How can others respect you if you are given a free ride? We do not do what we do for worship or praise. While I can say I will never change your mind, as that means you cannot trust your mind, it would be better to say I will change your mind if it is necessary. Hence, I will tell you that I changed the mind of the sniper that shot at President Trump. I changed his mind to use a red dot sight, making him think it was better so he could see the target better all around. I do not like changing people's minds, and I do not like telling you that I can change people's minds, as you might then think you have been changed. When it is necessary to change a person's mind, know that the situation is important enough for it to be done. Snipers do not use red dot sights. The reason I chose to change his mind is that it introduces difficulties in you understanding the scenario. It makes it easier for you to believe a sniper firing a bullet almost point blank can miss every time, when in fact a child could hit a person out of range with iron sights. The introduction of that allowed you to convince yourselves of the slightest doubt if anyone could shoot anyone out of range with a red dot sight. The sniper was quite competent, and he was going to use a proper sniper scope, but I could not allow that. There will be occasions when a chosen of God must change the situation to achieve a goal and maintain some semblance of anonymity. There may come a time when GQF allows a chosen to show themselves freely and in public, with this backing in a way no one can dispute. GQF appears to be happy to help a species as a whole, which shows while individually there are those that are unworthy, as a whole there could be many that are worthy but they need a chance. I belong to the human species, Homo sapien, on a planet called Earth, third rock from the sun. If you are a different species and have come across this book, then know this book is for you too. Islam is a form of government of the people, with laws all wound up into a bad religion and system that will control every aspect of everyone's lives, political, social, economic, and their interpretation of God controlling you. Hence why they will bring in their own laws the moment they have a majority, through breeding out, converting, or killing the local population. The Muslims follow Islamic law over any country's law. Young people who do not know anything will always try to rebel against what they have, but the choices they make are terminally detrimental to themselves, their country, and this planet, and this universe in this case. A little more about me. When I was in my 20s, staying in a small room, sharing a house for my first job in London after university, there was a man called Colin. I took him out for a drink, saying I would pay, as he had no money. We had a few drinks, chatted about things. I believe he was desperate for some money. Not sure how that came around, or I just knew. But I offered him £10 sterling for him to drink. I think he had less than half a pint left, maybe a quarter of a pint, with the cigarette butts from the ashtray in it. He put them in and drank it, and I gave him £10. After that day, since I knew he needed some help, I took him out drinking whenever I was in the mood, maybe twice a week. I paid, but I also would accept no change back from him. When I gave him the money to get around in, or his notes, I think we swapped who got the round each, but mostly I think he was happy to get the round in each time, or when I went to the toilet. We became good friends. We both got something out of the friendship. He got some money and good conversations. I got good conversation and a way to help him. Sign 22, the 3 emails to religions. In 2025, I decided I had enough visiting all 3 religions. Yeah, this is only so much you can put up with, let's say. And really, the next step forward from the perspective would be jail. Yes, for me, as I silly tried and nothing had worked. They wouldn't listen to reason. You can only so many times, you know. So I decided to give them written evidence of who I was and a peek at future events. Is still, as I write this, February 2025, a war going on in Gaza. I sent an email to Israel Jews and told them I'm also sorry for what is about to happen, that Israel will be sorry. Within 24 hours, Israel apologized for one of their tanks accidentally misfiring with a round, ricocheting and destroying a church filled with people, killing only 2 people who resided, the priest and the person standing next to him. After the emails, I told them the events had all happened within 24 hours and stated the reason. but they cannot hide in their buildings, they cannot hide behind their clothing, and they cannot hide behind their schedules. And there we go. So there's the emails there. You'd have to zoom in, but let me just, because I think the resolution's a bit bad. Let's have a look. So, do you honestly believe the extermination of the Jews will dramatically decrease around the world? Why do you openly lie to me? Things are only going to get worse for you, much, much worse, and not just you. Everyone on the planet, Europe is now lost, and only a few places remain, but not forever. I'm also sorry for what is about to happen to Israel. Next one, to the Muslims. I'm the chosen of God, the Messiah. I've informed many of your Muslim teachers that I'm here, yet you had failed to let everyone know and have deliberately refused to realise that I'm very real. Therefore, I'm sorry for what's about to happen to Saudi Arabia and Iran. Hello, chosen of God. This is the Vatican. Have informed many of your Christian teachers that I'm here. You have failed to let everyone know, and you have deliberately refused to realise that I'm very real. Therefore, I'm sorry for what is about to happen to Italy, the Vatican City. Finally explains to them all in one email that they'd received. In these emails, there's another one on the next page. Let's have a look. Yes, I have now sent emails to all of you. I'm also sorry for what is about to happen to your countries. Those things have now occurred within 24 hours of receiving those emails. I'm glad the countries you're in are still capable of saying sorry in their own way. For the Jews, it was destroying a church and then hundreds of people hundreds of people hiding, only killing the priest and the person next to him, an apology. For the Muslims, it was the death of the prince's mother, condolence. For the Christians, it was the loss of the age of Torah, an apology. Now you get 30 days and 30 nights to contemplate, to choose to come and see me, to speak and to listen. So consider what I have said to you, that I give you a book endorsed by God. I can give you evidence for that you can meet him if you wish to while you're alive. I will also explain reality to you, explain where you come in the big picture. All of you get the answers, all of you can know the truth. I do hope the leaders of religions take the carrot. You have seen that you cannot hide in your buildings behind your garments or activities. If after 30 days and 30 nights none of you wish to talk, then it seems I'll have to speak a little louder with more evidence. Eventually, in this direction, you are declaring war on God. I have offered all of you the carrot. I suggest you take my offer, talk seriously. When I offer the next carrot to others, this will be incompatible with your religions. Now, in these emails, I gave GQF the parameters for the signs, but not the actual signs. If you require your permission, GQF to assist as required, and always ask him to fill in the issue if I miss something. Parameters that help me include the Turkish MP who died of a heart attack after he told everyone he should be killing all the Jews. Another, the Pakistani Imam, February or March 2026, dying of a heart attack after asking for everyone to kill as many Christians as they can. What I did in the email is say, while all religion is wrong, if people needed a comforter pacifier as they were still babies, they could keep their Judaism and Christianity as long as they fought Islam. By this I mean they could go into the streets and use all means they are using against you. That is the only way I will accept these other religions existing for a short time. When Islam is gone, they are to be disbanded as well. Destroy all the places of worship, all the books, all the teachings. They may keep copies in libraries under the historical section. All religion is wrong, all of it. And I sent this email to the United Nations. Please forward this to all nations of the earth. I'm including all nations of the earth in this email, everyone in existence, because the gravity situation now includes everyone. First, we are here to help you, like a stabbed toe with a broken bone. Even with lots of pain, you find it harder to change than to stay the same. But with someone offering you help, it is easy to change. I mean, literally, this is the sunken cost issue. I'm sorry I was never able to get through to you as a man. Sorry, I was never able to get through to you as a man. We're all very good at speaking, but you are all very poor at listening. We are going to speak a little louder. For this occasion, I'm happy with what is going to happen everywhere. You can choose to call an emergency session of the United Nations and ask me to talk to all of you, preferably before you go down the wrong path where there is nothing left of the planet. I will expect the full unconditional surrender of all religions and all nations at that time. Unfortunately, yes, some discomfort. presently. Let's say the war in Iran. The reason I want you to spend these days reading these 9 chapters of the book, 100% endorsed by God, is that they explain everything they need to. They need everything you need to know to follow a true path to meeting God while you're alive, as in standing in front of Him in the real world, not the fake dream world. I pretty much go through. Probably can't read it, it's so bad. Yes, I knew Charlie Kirk would be killed and assassinated many weeks before it happened. I could have prevented it, but instead said sorry. It was a difficult situation where if I saved his life, you would all still think you are correct in everything you say. You get 9 days, 1 day for each chapter of the book. On the 10th day, if you have still not chosen to talk, I will try again. Perhaps one last time for the planet. You must understand that religious leadership has refused the carrot, refused change. So let us see if everyone on the planet refuses to talk, or if it is just incompetent leadership. The planet rang like a bell when I announced in an email to all of you I was here. The Hunga Tonga volcanic eruption 2022. You can even go and speak to Tammy Peterson in America, who I saved from terminal illness and heard me speak, if she remembers any of that traumatic event. You can play my voice saying the very passage to her while she lay dying in Georgia. I've offered you religions the carrot many times. With the thousands of views I gave you, you could have set up a real committee to investigate everyone, as in speak to everyone who said they were me, and the only committees you have ever done are those that speak. If he is not one of us, he is not real. Instead, you sit on your ivory thrones and cause havoc throughout the world in my name and God's name. That time is over. All you have done for thousands of years is abuse our names, abuse other people, write false books, and do things in our names we would never ask you to do. If the best morality from Jews is to circumcise boys, the best morality from Muslims is to circumcise girls, and the best morality from Christians is to molest boys and girls, then your morality is sorely lacking. Should I give you the stick like the Turkish MP? We decide who receives the wrath, not you. We decide who has done enough helping others to receive kindness back, not you. I told Israel to wipe Gaza off the map. I did not speak as Messiah, I spoke as a father. When wars are fought by who can burn the most babies alive of the opposition, when I'm right here, I draw a firm line. Just be glad I could choose to give Israel this task so that their fathers and mothers can seek retribution. Israel can decide how far that retribution goes, whether to complete extermination or not. I give them that leeway. Just be glad if I had responded as Messiah and there was only one option, there would be no one alive in Gaza or Egypt or Jordan or Iran or Iraq or Pakistan and many other places. You would not even be able to hear a dog barking the next day. Muslims say the Messiah is supposed to be a Muslim from their lineage. The Jews is supposed to be a Jew from their lineage. The Christians say he's supposed to be a Christian, the same Christian, so the same lineage. You all believe me to be only one of you, either of you, this or this, since you all consider yourselves perfect, which unfortunately none of you are. I told you I was coming, therefore I came before you. And if I came before you, before the Jew, the Muslim, the Christian even existed, then surely you had it the wrong way around. You all left me and took false paths. You did not wait for me to speak. I would have been happy if your leadership were not all sick sociopaths, psychopaths. It is very easy to tell if Jesus was the Messiah. He did not say he did any of those miracles. Whereas I say what we did, as I know exactly what I wanted, exactly what I said, exactly the response, the smiley face on the sun. I will tell you exactly what I wanted, that it was exactly me giving the form of the face, that it was us that created the miracle. We created the giant question mark of space. I decided to put it there. We could Tammy Peterson. We spoke with her. We spoke to her. We never spoke to her. We did something. Jesus never admitted anywhere he did any of it because he did not. And therein lies the kicker for you. Since I am the true Messiah, ask for those things that Jesus did to happen, if indeed they happened, and if it would help. You see, I'm not just from this time, I am in time now. I can change anything in time anywhere. Let me show you a world with God in it while you're alive. Let me show you a true path. Let go your shackles. If the Muslims truly understand now, then tear down all of your mosques, throw away your prayer mats, and put away your worship, burn all your Qurans and other religious books, and show the world you can lead the way. Show them Islam is dead and you embrace the new. You may keep copies in libraries in the history section only. Once you've done that, the other religions will follow. Then after 10 days, I emailed a PDF to the United Nations. Hello, all people of the earth. Here are the 9 chapters endorsed by God himself, all in PDF format, which may make it easier for you. The rest is slowly coming. You are given 10 happy days, the best 10 days humanity has ever seen, With each day you could have read a new chapter, even become a chosen of God, and been allowed to meet him if you were worthy. 9 chapters, that's all it takes to meet him while you're alive. Well, I said I would give you all, everyone, everywhere 10 good days, and you've had them. It was only later I discovered that these days are apparently the most holy days left in Judaism's calendar. So somewhere, someone went back and put that into their calendar for them to wait and look on those days for the truth. Funny that these religions still do not trust us. I asked that a passage be placed in the Quran in the surahs. This is in 25:26. Subsequently, I came across it in Surah 2:23, meaning that the meaning is if you can find a more benevolent God-like sentence or paragraph in another book, then the Quran is false. I wanted to make it as plain as day that the Quran was false. It's like just find one sentence in another book that's more godly and the entire Quran is false. It's like, it should be easy. But again, the indoctrination is crazy. For me, finding the alien at the end of the rainbow, at the end, or rather the start of everything, was a matter of working out everything. So I knew how to look, where to look, and what, and to make that happen. I found along the way that religion was wrong. It is now your time to make a choice to see if you are capable of such a journey. I would hope more than a few will try, and more than a few will become friends with this being, that we fondly referred to colloquially as God. Who would have thought you did not actually have to go to anywhere to find a real alien? Friends with an alien, surreal, perhaps, yes. I like to constantly think up new ways to interpret things. One, to get you started, could be, is the universe part of the body of this incredible creature? Like a flea to a dog, does the flea come eye to eye with the dog and they exchange looks? You can have a very creative mind to solve, that I have a very creative mind that allow me to solve these things. You should stand tall. The universe was created so other life forms could exist, that you could exist. It was not created so that you should bow. I pity all that bow to us, for you do not understand. All religions are false. Their prophets are false and nothing to do with God. One thing I should add, though, and I only remember it in passing as it was so long ago, I'm probably responsible for the US and Russia with the nuclear weapons going off and on. At the moment, I've asked that all nuclear weapons are non-functional. You won't be able to get a spark from them, so I don't want blowing up at each other at the moment. You must be willing to take a stand on what is right and what is wrong. You must be willing to judge what you accept as true, real, against what you accept as wrong. If you are unwilling to judge right from wrong, how can you be trusted? How can others trust you? If you don't want to know the difference, how can others trust you if you cannot make a judgment? With this contact from the ultimate life form, we have to take this seriously. It could indeed be a poke to get our planet under control, and by poking me, I have the answers to that problem. Now I poke you. Probing. It all comes down to probing, doesn't it? How much probing we can do. Funny. You cannot have a religious book where some things are right for some people and some things are wrong for some other people. The moment you find contradictions, you should put that book down and try from first principles. With this book, I've tried to remain factual as possible to give you that start so you can have some of that knowledge, a stepping stone, but you must get there on your own. The hardest part I'm always trying to understand is freedom, free will and choice. How can you change the world for a better within that comprehension? To be frank, it's a difficult conundrum and I see it mainly as improving people's options. I give you the information to help you, but it is for you to choose what you do with it. Unless I give you the truth, how can you choose? So I choose to give people the truth. Since the truth is what people require to make a choice. Without some truth, how can you be free to make a choice? So freedom and free will very much has to do with truth. Since GQF can decide what has life, I choose to ask that this book has life. And this was answers, so it's just a book. That it will find its way to those in need long after I'm gone, so that they have the truth before them to decide. So giving you truth gives you a measure of freedom and free will. You just need to choose the truth to explore freedom. Remember, GQF is ambivalent about most things. The chosen creates the difference. You can change this universe if you are for it. Truth cannot be esoteric, as in only this book knows the truth. Truth must be exoteric, as in everyone can see some of the signs for all time. Islam is a sick, psychopathic cult with nothing to do with God in any way, led by psychopaths. One almost last thing, I have gone through life testing others. I needed to know some people's breaking points, their mentality, their views. I've been considered by some to be very arrogant, which I guess is high praise for one that actually is part God. I suppose I should clarify, if I have not already, since I was 8, I have known and yes had, subject to approval, complete, total and unlimited power over the entire universe. Everything and everyone I could control if I wished, changed if I wished, everything without restriction, yes, everything, with God's approval. So, excuse me. So he obviously needed to approve everything, but yeah, as far as I mean, a lot of things have been, or some things have not been allowed. You know, so not everything has been allowed. There's only a few things. So remarkable in the sense I was able to, if you like, solve so much and have so little refused. You know, a lot of the things that some, or one, let's say, is mainly just wanting to do more. So you're not allowed to do too much to help, because it comes back to, if you're doing all the help, then eventually you're too reliant. So yeah, there's a fine line. To be honest, unlike the world, the universe, there were a few flaws which humans made in history, which would have eventually consumed it had I not stepped in, or someone. But apart from that, it ran quite well. For the most part, a sense of self-preservation kept people in line in government, with opposing ideologies keeping each other in check. So mostly people would fall in the middle and be happy with a little bit of extreme from either end, but nothing winning outright per se. Like a simple seesaw, the middle was stable and intellectual curiosity would prevail in this area. You may ask why I did not kill all those that I thought were bad people, like ending the religions. And I think I've answered that. I still can, you can. You can make that judgment for yourself. To end the suffering for all time, then surely the past has people suffering, and since everything is in the past, surely the best thing is to eliminate everything. Being a pragmatist with exceptions is roughly where I stand, which means if I do decide to put my foot down, you do not want to be there, or you were exactly where I needed you to be at the exact time and the exact location. There may be some saying we are more likely closer to home aliens. There may be some saying that we are more likely closer to home aliens pretending to be who we say we are for some unspecified reason. Well, you would have to answer why I have helped the world so much. If it were our purpose to, say, conquer planet Earth, why would we help it? Even a conspiracy theorist would balk at the notion we are getting you ready for conquest. Yes, and obviously helping putting a giant question mark in the universe, like a galaxy a long way away, at the furthest point. Why would we be an alien? Like a Martian or something that, or the next system over, and trying to, deceive you or something. It's like, how do you deceive an entire species that way and put a giant question mark at the edge of the universe? It's, it answers that question for you. It's like, there's no deception. No deception. We are who we say we are. you book of that conquest when literally everyone on the planet at this moment does not believe, does not even believe we are who we say we are. And for those that have heard us speak, hate us for what we're saying. Decades of benevolence from me alone seems not to count against religion's desires to conquer you all today and take your money. Sometimes a spade is just a spade. As I've maintained, I'm not here to convert you, I'm here to tell you the truth and let you decide if you want to know the truth yourselves, no strings. I'm ambivalent about reality, whether it was one way or another. Certainly God is benevolent about reality, whether it's one way or another. We're not especially, it would concern me, because I'm concerned. I take concern seriously. But if it's the truth, then it's the truth, you see. Especially, it would not especially concern me, because it's the truth. If it was opposite of everything I thought was truth, I would try to tell you the truth of what that reality was, but I would disagree. But I would disagree with it completely. Yeah. So there really is no point in any alien deity or simulation hiding anything from me. They gain nothing. It's whatever's true is true. Hiding the truth from me is pointless. You're just deceiving yourself. Many life forms come to us for help, so and we're talking dogs and things, cats. Many life forms come to us for help, so already a greater life form would come to help us if we asked. The problem is you have never asked the right life form, never knew how. If you are still not convinced, you may ask, is this all for money? This must be fake. Where did you want people to send their money? GQF God has no need of the money. The universe, he gave it all as a gift, so to speak. He still owns it. He is all here in reality, ready to speak to you in person while you're alive. It would be like you returning the gift. Did you not like the gift? So you have to take responsibility for the good and the bad, and there is unfortunately some bad bits with the creation of the universe. There are some bad bits, unwanted bits like religion, but you have to address that. Apart from addressing that, it's not so bad. The universe is pretty cool. There's not much in a lot of space, but the universe is pretty cool. Too many people seem to think I would have loved them, so not especially, and not unless you made something of your lives as in chosen. It's like, why should we just love everyone? It's like, no. You have to do something. I love what you do. As an FYI for the intelligence that comes later, like an AI or something. Certainly, an artificial intelligence, AI, not AI. Is important, so lower AI, so a real one, not fake. It's important for you to have emotions, certainly if you wish to communicate with the one, the primary, the creator of the universe. If I wanted, if I wanted them enslaved or dead, I would have done it myself. So the last part is, if we wanted to, what we want to happen happens. If we want it to happen, basically, and we can do it ourselves. If you want to step up and become a chosen, and you want input, power, infinite responsibility, this universe is yours as well. So it's not this, God created it and that's it. He's happy for people within to step up, and if they want to make the universe a better place, then he is happy as a friend to make it a better place. It'd be like putting a poster on a jail cell or something. It's like, we need a poster. It's just a crazy thought for you to creativity. Okay, we are at the end of this book. You certainly know a lot about us. Perhaps thankful we took the time to help when we could have sat back and done nothing and let perhaps another species planet fail. How many failures does it take before I would stand up? None. So I have one planet at the moment. So yes, the competition of who is the most benevolent between immortal and mortal rages on. So how benevolent can another mortal be? Are you going to step up and see? He had to step up because I did, or maybe I had to step up because he did. Either way, we both stepped up and we both stepped forward together. Thank you.